Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and welcome back to another movie review. In today's movie review, this is going to be a movie review on this movie that I recently watched on Disney Plus. I watched this film on Disney Plus since it did look interesting, and this is also a Touchstone Pictures film as well that came out in 1984, and that's going to be on Splash. Splash is directed by Ron Howard and produced by Brian Grazer and stars Tom Hanks, Eugene Levy, John Candy, and Daryl Hannah. Yep. So the story of Splash goes like this: a young boy is saved from drowning by a beautiful mermaid. Falls in love with her 20 years later when she returns to seek him out. Before he can choose between life on dry land or a deep sea paradise with his dream woman, the lovers are rudely interrupted by the intervention of a scheming scientist. Yeah, and that's the story, and that's the basic story of Splash. So, what do I think of it? Like I said, I watched this film on Disney Plus since it was streaming on Disney Plus, so I watched it. I watched the whole entire thing. And I'm gonna have to say this is one great film from 1984. Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, because not only Splash is a Touchstone Pictures film, but Splash is also the very first Touchstone Pictures film to be made. Because Touchstone Pictures was first founded in 1984, and this was their first film that they made. Splash was their first film. Yeah, and it's kind of a shame that Touchstone Pictures went out of business like a few years ago, back in 2018, because Touchstone Pictures was facing bankruptcy, and it was also due to the box office disappointment of that piece of crap film Strange Magic. But that one actually came out in early 2015. Yeah, but as for their first film, Splash I think is a great film from the 80s, 1984, and the acting performances itself, it's got great actors like Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks as Alan and Daryl Hannah, Eugene Levy, John Candy. Yeah, and I thought John Candy was hilarious in this film, and Eugene Levy, he wasn't too bad. And of course the way this film is shot, it's great. Like the director Ron Howard and producer Brian Grazer. Yeah, and of course, I think Splash is kind of almost like this similarity, and I think it's almost like an inspiration for Walt Disney Animation Studios to make their own version of this film called The Little Mermaid, because the story itself, because the story of Splash just kind of feels similar to another Disney film that they made in 1989 called The Little Mermaid. It's kind of similar to how the main character has to choose whether to live on dry land or live in the deep underwater sea. And yeah. And plus Splash was also one of Tom Hanks's earliest films that he was in, back in the 80s. Because Splash was actually one of Tom Hanks's earliest films that he was in. He was also in a bunch of other 80s films as well, in a bunch of other old films that he was in, before his career got bigger and bigger and more successful. He was also in this film called Big, which I love that film, Big. And yeah. So overall, Splash was a great film from 1984, and I'm gonna give Splash 4.5 out of 5 stars. Yep, 4.5 out of 5. So yeah, if you haven't watched Splash yet, then I definitely recommend it. So there you have it, guys. That's gonna be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.